Hello everybody, my name is Mehdi Kortnavasi and this is the second movie about the chapter 3 outlining the structure of ITIL or Information Technology Infrastructure Library part 2, and in this movie I'm going to talk about the service design and service transition. The main purpose of the service design stage of the life cycle is the design of the new or changed services for introduction into the live environment. The service design stage of the life cycle is where you take an idea for a new service or a change to an existing service and put meat on the bones. From the high-level business requirements that you establish in the service strategy stage, you make plan, design, and estimate of resources that help you understand what's involved in creating the new or changed service. This is the stage that covers the gathering and analysis of the service requirements and the design of the service. You must gather the detailed requirements of the service and then check that they are achievable. Then you can design the service to meet the requirements. The service design stage incorporates the following processes. The first, design coordination, ensuring that the goals and objectives of the service design stage are met by providing a single point of coordination and control. The next is the service level management. It means ensuring that a defined level of service is agreed and delivered. And the third is the service catalog management, ensuring that the service catalog exists and is a reliable source of information about live services. The fourth is supplier management, managing third-party suppliers and the products and service they supply. And the fifth is availability management, managing the availability of service to ensure they are offered to users and as agreed. And the sixth is the capacity management, managing service capacity to ensure it is sufficient, and performance of the services to ensure they work fast enough. And the seventh part is IT service continuity management, managing the recovery of the service when affected by a disaster or an event with a large impact on the business. And the last part is the information security management, ensuring that the integrity of the information and data that is contained in and used by the IT service is maintained at the appropriate level to meet the business need.
There are many forms of design, but do you know what service design is? When you have two coffee shops right next to each other and each sells the exact same coffee at the exact same price, service design is what makes you walk into one and not the other. Innovating services include various disciplines beside design. There's a common language to let these disciplines work together efficiently as a team. It's called service design thinking and is based around 5 principles. First of all, service design should be user-centered, so services are experienced through the customer's eyes. It should also be co-creative to ensure that all stakeholders are included in the process.
Hello.
Sequencing visualizes services as interrelated actions, and evidencing makes them tangible. Finally, service design should be holistic, so the entire environment of a service is considered. Service designers use many tools, like stakeholder maps, personas, customer journey maps, cultural probes, storyboards, service prototypes, service blueprints, and many, many more. There's a new book about these tools and how they can help you design better services.
What is service design? Let's start with an example. Think of the last time you went to the DMV. If your experience was like most people's, it was frustrating, took way too long, and you probably didn't leave feeling great. While waiting, you may have wondered, why isn't this service more satisfying? And started imagining ways to improve your experience. Service design is the practice of making services, just like the DMV, better, through research, developing ideas, and testing experiences. Because you can't see them, you probably don't think about services too often, but they are everywhere, and you're interacting with dozens, if not hundreds of them every day. Services range from product-based to intangible, and from simple, such as online videos, car mechanics, and in-store shopping, to complicated, staying at a hotel, mortgages, and public transit, to highly complex, education, healthcare, and government services. As you can see, services affect most areas of our lives. Actually, services are so prolific that they now account for a majority of the world's GDP. So, what do service designers do? Every service is different, so there's no one procedure set in stone. However, service designers usually collaborate with many other disciplines while following these basic steps. We begin by talking to everyone involved with or affected by the service, collectively called stakeholders, to deeply understand their ideas on what an ideal experience would look like. Compiling this research gives us a complete, bird's-eye view of the current service and what's required to satisfy the needs and motivations of each group. Based on these findings, we then work with the stakeholders to create a variety of ideas that we believe will improve the service. Next, we test our most appealing ideas with real people using service prototypes, which are mock-ups of an idea that allow someone to experience how it feels to interact directly with new aspects of a service. For example, a small team of designers can quickly test different kinds of appointments and express lanes to see how these changes can best improve their waiting line experience. Or we might have employees at one DMV location provide customers with free coffee, Wi-Fi, and a comfortable lounge area in order to test how these small changes can improve the overall experience. Repeating these phases many times allows us to better understand the problem while polishing our ideas and collecting them into a complete service solution. At the end of the process, we share the newly redesigned service with the relevant stakeholders and provide them with a plan for implementing, sustaining, and evolving it in the future. So, what are the results? When service design is done well, it's like running a highly constructive group therapy session in which stakeholders build symbiotic relationships and unify on the common goal of producing great service experiences. This leads to services that are desirable, enjoyable, effective, and efficient for providers, consumers, and society.
Okay, next, let's talk about the service transition. Service transition helps organizations plan and may manage change to services and deploy release. It means install software, hardware, and related components and documentation into the live environment successfully. Service transition is the bit between service design and service operation, which I explained in the section before and after this one. It focuses on how to ensure the business requirements identified in the service strategy and set out in service design are effectively realized in service operation, while controlling the risk of the failure and disruption. The Arching activities of the service transition stage are build, test, and implementation. In other words, this is the phase in which you get physical. Here are the processes that you need to control the implementation of new or changed services into the live environment. The first is transition planning and support, providing coordination of all service transition activities. The next is change management, managing and controlling changes from request through to closure. And the third is service asset and configuration management, maintaining a source of information about the services, their component parts, and the other assets required to deliver the services, and the relationships between them. And the fourth is release and deployment management, managing the physical introduction of new or changed services and associated equipment into the live environment. The next is knowledge management, carrying out a life cycle wide process in which you improve the quality of management decision making by ensuring that the right information and data are available throughout the service life cycle. The next is the change evaluation, ensuring that an independent view of any unexpected effects of a change has been evaluated, and that the customer's expectations are met. And the last one is the service validation and testing, ensuring the components and services are tested and will provide the value in terms of utility and warranty that has been agreed with the business.
Now, let's move on to the next stage of the life cycle, which is service transition. Transition moves services into production operation. This is achieved by receiving a new service design package, or SDP, from the service design stage, testing it to ensure it meets the needs of the business, and deploying it in the production environment. You might be wondering, what is the purpose of service transition? The purpose is to ensure that new, modified, or retired services meet the expectations of the business as documented in the service strategy and service design stages of the life cycle. Of objectives, there are 4. The first is to plan and manage service changes efficiently and effectively. Second, to manage risks relating to new, changed, or retired services. Third, to successfully deploy service releases into supported environments. And fourth, to provide good quality knowledge and information about services and service assets. Alright, so now let's move on to the scope of service transition. Now this includes transitioning changes in the service provider's service management capabilities. This would impact things like mode of working, organization, people, projects, and third parties involved in service management. Okay, so now that we've got a good understanding of the scope of service transition, let's move on to the value it provides. This includes adopting and implementing standard and consistent approaches for service transition. This enables projects to estimate the cost, timing, resource requirement, and risks associated with the service transition stage more accurately, results in higher volumes of successful change, enables service transition assets to be shared and reused across projects and services, reduces delays from unexpected clashes and dependencies, manages the service transition test and pilot environments, and improves control of service assets and configurations.
Okay, as you watch in the movie, there are 7 R's of change management: raise, reason, return, risk, resource, responsible, and relation. Who raised the change? What is the reason? What is the return required? What are the risks involved? What resources are required to deliver? Who is responsible? And what is the relationship between these and other changes? Okay, thank you for watching this movie. In the next movie, I will continue to talk about the service operation. Thank you.